I never know if it's going or not. Here we go. Finally, okay. Hey, I'm gonna sing a song. I'll just start with a song. Why not? Why the hell not? Could I do better? Could I let you be yourself? Step away, trust you to do what is right. Have your freedom, but did I make you good enough? That if I'm gone, you'll be fine, you keep your pride. Yeah, I tried it. I tried it all before. You think you're something different. I wish you were. You'll kill your brother. Stone to his trusting head. Drag the world into fire. Every time, every time, every time. And that's it for that. Okay, hey, I'm Eric. I'm making a game. It's called the Godkiller. It's a game in Unity. You solve puzzles in it. You fight people. You do everything from a relentless top-down viewpoint, even though it's 3D. I'm gonna demo a little bit of it. I have to explain that there's an old project that is broken, that all the functionality was inside of, and I moved all the source code and the assets to the new project where everything is fine but not fully functional. And I'm like slowly re-enabling all the stuff from the old project in the new project through a process which I call resurrection. I'm resurrecting old features in the new project, and I've been doing it slowly in a bottom-up fashion so I can check that each thing is working as I expect it to before adding to it. And also not just checking that it's working, but that it's structured in such a way that I can maintain that code base in the project well, and add things to it and keep it in a state where it's ready to be something real, something that's releasable, something that is, it's going to be a game that you can play. So I don't want to have any rewrites in the future. I don't want to have like weird bugs that take me forever to find the source of, things like that. So I've kind of carefully went old project to new project, and anytime I caught a whiff of something that I didn't think was going to be good, I stopped and fixed it. So that's what you're going to see, and it's going to sound a little bit lame, almost like I'm like, well, it's really a lot cooler than what you see. There's a lot more stuff, but it's just not all working right now. I kind of sound like that sort of person. No, I understand. I understand what it looks like. I'm not going to try to convince you that hard that it's super cool or anything like that. You'll see though, it's good. Or go back and look at some of the older videos from the old project, and you'll get an idea of like what it looks like when the player walks around and does stuff. So let me make this a little bit larger. So the features I'm going to show you are all edit time. Edit time. There's a little bit of weirdness here. So just to give you the gist of what the level looks like. Turn off the gizmos for a bit. So your player character down here, the camera view is going to be something like this, and as she walks around, the camera will just follow right on top of her. And in this world there's a lot of capacity to go up and down quickly, and there's some other things where you just move around really fast inside of it. Okay, so yesterday I completed resurrection of the decoration features of the level. And I'll show you how they work. Turn the gizmos back on, and I'm going to get the operation zone, and I'll make it visible. Okay, so there's my operation zone. to start out, I'll just say I'll clear all my decorations so you can see what the level looks when it's plain. Okay, now I'll turn back off this operation zone. Okay, so these are just kind of simple geometric areas. There is a little bit of code that's being used to procedurally generate. Hold on a second. So there is some code that's used to select the texture based on what height the mesh is at, and I can see different textures of floors and walls. But beyond that, I can add decorations with procedural generation by taking this yellow cuboid, which is just a simple mesh, and getting it to select just the area that I want to apply things to. So I'll pull this down. Oops. See, I just want to do this box here. Let me do the snap on it. Alright, that's better. Not much better though. Weird. Okay. I always forget to hold the Option key down. I should just do one session where I upgrade Unity. I think there's already a feature to keep the snapping toggled on or off. That's what I need. Because I keep on forgetting to hold down not the Option key but the Command key. So okay, this is a good area to decorate. So if I go to my editor, I've got different options for how to decorate. So there's floor edges which go along the top border of each floor, and I can have more of these randomly generated extra features, descenders and enchant squares. You'll see what those looks like. Wall descenders, they're like pipes that go along the sides of the wall. Wall panels are these extra decorative panels that get put on the walls. They look kind of bad because I don't have good models set up for them, so I'm going to turn off those. They're just kind of weird looking, so I'll disable those. Alright, so then once I have those settings how I like, then I say decorate the level. And then so you can see it better, I'll hide the operation zone again. And over the area that I selected with that operation zone, that big yellow cuboid thing, it added these edges and added this thing here, which once I have re-enabled the post rendering, it'll be like a glowing light. These pipes that descend down from the side, right? Yeah, and then I think maybe there's a few examples of the pipes going underneath, maybe? No? Okay. So if a randomly generated pipe descends over the edge, it'll curve around the bottom. But whatever my random settings were, it didn't happen to pick that. Let me see if I can get that to happen though. I'll try that. I think I do have the wall descender chance really low. Let me set that up to 70. I'll turn down the special chance, which are those light things, and I'll just run the decorate level again. Alright, so then here's the example of what I'm talking about. So then, like these guys, they kind of loop around the bottom. So if I want to make like one area that's just really pipe-ish, I can play with the settings, and I can put that yellow box over the area I want, and it'll just make all these pipes and stuff over it. So that's how that works. And the other thing I did yesterday, and I managed to complete it right before I got called into like a work emergency, day job, different thing. It is a scene organization script. So this organize scene function, right now it won't do anything because I've got everything in the right place. So cloud box, there's some kind of problem with that. Let me just clear that so I make sure I get fresh errors. Okay, so it's not. Oh. Okay, you know what? I will fix that bug in this session. So that's. Yeah, I'll fix that in this session. Okay. So let us continue to explain what the organized scene does. So suppose that I'm just like modeling in a happy-go-lucky way, and I go to my level prefabs and I say, here, let's throw a level entrance down, or a spawn point down, an egg I call it. And let's do some other stuff. Let's get an arch in there. And this is another problem with Unity. If I'm trying to initially place on a snapped way, it won't let me do it. So I have to come in and like manually set this stuff. And okay. And we throw a few more things in there. Let's do some floors. Okay. Grab the top of that and extrude it. Again, due to a little manual issue, I lost control of the command button and it didn't snap, and so I had to redo it. So I definitely got to get that fixed just for basic productivity, because I've got a lot of modeling to do in the future, and I don't want to have to be continuously fixing little problems like that. I'm at a stage of the project where I'm really sensitive to things that I will end up doing that are repeated again and again and again, because I know I got to make like somewhere between 100 and 500 levels for this game, and I don't want any inefficiency in it. I mean, some I guess, but not like the kind where it adds 15 minutes to each hour, you know. Something like that is just really worth investing to figure out how not to have that problem. Okay, so I added a bunch of objects, but they're not like organized in a good way. So if I look inside of this scene hierarchy, I see okay, I've got floor here, I've got my half arch, egg, and that's going to be a lot of clutter now, especially if I end up doing some things like spikes. Here, let me throw some spikes down. You'll see spikes. So spikes, when I get going with spikes, I tend to just make a whole ton of them. Okay, so like I just threw some spikes down, now I've got 5 more game objects. And they're all at this top level of the scene. I want to clean that up, so I go to Organize Scene, and it just puts them where they go. Lighting has got its own special folder under Level. Decorations, which are all these things that I create with that yellow box and the decorate level thing I showed you. They go in a separate thing because there's so many of them. Look at this. There's like, for just that little bit I did, there's, you know, hundreds of game objects. So this stuff has to be decluttered, or I won't be able to find things in it very well. Now I can, inside of the level, I can add what are called level sectors. So I go into this spatial or level area, and actually this I haven't tested out. So I'll be curious to see how well it does. But okay, so I go into scene organization, level sector. Okay. So this is more of those boxes, like the operation zone. So say I want to define one area of the level. Stupid snapping. Okay, I want to define one area of the level that's kind of grouped away from the rest. Say this whole upper area up here is important to me. That's not going to work real great, that idea, because this whole thing is one giant object. So let me pick something that's a little more discretely represented as a game object. Say this one box down here, this one kind of raised area. Okay, so I just defined one area of the level. I guess I'll okay, hold on. I think I need to make it a little bit larger. Okay, so let's call this sunbathing area. I don't know why I decided to use that term. Okay, so if I do organize scene, I'm hoping it moves the level sector to the right area. If not, maybe I didn't write that code. Okay, so never mind that. I'll put it inside the level areas. Okay, now I want to see. No, inside the level. Inside the level. That's where I'm having to remember how this was organized. So organize the scene. Okay. I can't see what's going on with that stupid error. So it seems like I got 2 bugs to figure out, and I was going to do something else with this session, but I mean, I've got 2 bugs right in front of me, and I hate to use I hate to define a mission for a session and not meet it. And I also hate to do new work without fixing bugs that I know about. And I know about 2 bugs right now. So I think in this session, I'm going to figure out what's up with the level areas in Organized Scene. I'm also going to figure out why the cloud box is throwing this error. And if I can get those 2 things done, then I may choose one more goal, which would be to resurrect the main game loop, but depends how fast I get the first 2 done. I don't want to commit to the game loop thing until I've got these other 2 bugs fixed. So that's what I'm up to. First the cloud box, because it's going to drive me fucking nuts with it loading up the doodad down here. What is the problem with the cloud box? Is there static values in question here? Take a look for static. No, just static methods. Okay, what was the line that was complained about? It was 189. So are the clouds not initialized? Ten clouds. Looks like it was initialized. Let me see. No, clouds is null. Okay, so the cloud count comes from a prop, I believe. Yep. Okay, that's why it's initialized. Whereas clouds is set inside of init clouds, I'm pretty sure. So this might be as simple as, well, init clouds or yeah. I think player I need to unpack the prefab. That might have fixed it. Yeah, you can see the clouds moving underneath here. So I'm thinking about a better way to fix that. Do I really want the clouds to update for every update event inside the editor? Do I want them to kind of move along like that? I don't think that's really what I want. So it works, but like there's no point to it. And if for some reason the starting positioning of the clouds was important to me, for some reason, I probably would never be, but then me moving around like this would kind of mess it up. Yeah, it doesn't help anything. Okay, so I do want the init signal to be present because it's used within the editor. Yeah, well, I mean solely in the editor. Whereas this I think is just total gameplay code right here. Yeah, so if why am I forgetting what's the object for is playing? Application is playing. If not application is playing. I don't understand why I have to pass a game object to it, but that's fine. Oh, wait, there's another one up here. Is it deprecated? No, okay, cool. Or yeah, okay, so that should do it too. There. And that's nicer than the first way I did it. Okay, now the other thing I noticed is that certain prefabs, I really need to unpack them to avoid errors. Prefabs that that create and delete objects inside of them, I have to unpack. So I'm going to start a convention where if I know that I need to unpack, I'll just add unpack to that. Let's see, what else did I unpack? Level, yeah, level, yeah, because it's got decorations in it. Okay, I can kind of see what I already unpacked here. So there was level, and then the last thing would probably be background. I know another way I could handle this. I could create like a separate game object that was not a child of the prefab, which was used to handle any kind of object creation associated with that. Object creation, object deletion. Um, but I don't think it's worth it. There is something maybe a little bit irritating about this method of unpacking, in that if I am in active development on the prefab, or if I want to change the prefab and have the change be made all the other places, I have to go in and to each scene that's got the old version of it, and replace that prefab with the latest updated prefab. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something that's that big of a deal. I say that, but there'll be like some update I make to the player, like a different animation or something like that, and then I'll have to go through like 400 levels and replace them all. So I'm tortured a little bit by it. And it's not actually that I'm creating and deleting game objects during the scene. It's like in the updates of while the game is playing. I'm doing it one time when the object is first instanced. Is that true? Let me just take a look at this again. Yeah, because I've got like all of these fling dots, and they're hidden right now. They were cloned originally, but so right now I've got length of 0. But if I say 5. I turned off the on-validate handling on it, I think. So, yeah, okay. So I actually need like the player guide script to run in the game loop in order to see it. But basically, I've got like a maximum distance that the fling ray could possibly go out to, and it corresponds with like, well, with the camera view, that this relentlessly top-down camera view, would it be possible to see more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares off that direction? And then I tried on like really large monitors and stuff, and just kind of rounded up, erred on the side of adding more dots, and then the maximum number of dots in the seek ray that I could find. It's like it's a ray that kind of goes 1 dot per square off in any of the 4 directions. So I came up with like maximum numbers, and these are all instanced right when the prefab loads. Okay, so that's fine. And I'm still kind of on the fence about the strategy of requiring an unpack on the prefab. one other way I could do it. I could remove the dynamic generation of those dots in the guide. I don't know. This isn't necessarily, I wouldn't classify it as a bug. I don't need to go off on a tangent to fix it. So let me move on to the next thing. So I just fixed like 2 bugs. My console is running clean again. Good. So now let me see, what is the deal with these level areas? Because I do want those to work. Not just level areas. How do those even work? Let me check organize scene, see what it does. No console errors. I gotta look at my code. Okay, move level sectors to path. Okay. Find level sectors. Okay. So let's just walk through it. Let me see if it returns anything. If it doesn't, I'll hit play again and figure out why. Okay, play. Let's do it again. Step. Whoa. Oh, what am I? Oh, dang it. Wrong breakpoint. Do again. Alright, find the level sectors. Why are you not finding them? Okay, it should be all the game objects that have a zone tag. There's 2. Cool. That makes sense. So one of these should have a is level sector tag. Okay, that's false. Don't know why, but it is. So this is working as expected. Okay, now where does it move them? I think it's going to move them into level areas. Is that right or not? I don't know. Maybe we'll move them into levels. That might make more sense. That's probably what I did. Did I say move them into levels? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. So then this level sector, I have to turn that on. Okay, might as well get the prefab. I think that's the bug. The prefab didn't have this set. So then if I do that, What happens? Now we got it. Now we got it. Okay, cool. So what did it do? What did it do? What did it do? Alright, so I've got the sunbathing area. Inside of the sunbathing area, it's got all these guys. We'll click that. It's got this zone here, but then I'll just turn that off so I can see it better. Got all that stuff selected. So if I wanted, I could grab the sunbathing area and I could move it over. It did grab the base floor underneath, which isn't so helpful. The decorations are not included. That's by design. The decorations are just not meant to be attached as children of the game objects that they're decorating. So I can more easily delete them and clear them and add them to certain areas and stuff like that. And also, like, if I've just got a whole bunch of game objects and I want to be able to find something a little more easily, then I can say, okay, this is going to be the cube, because I won't bother like to name each and every one of these game objects to be what they are. I'll just say, oh, there's a cube here. It's in the sunbathing area. Oh, that must be this thing over here. Okay, cool. So stuff like that will help me. And I can divide up the whole level that way. The other thing that these level sectors do is they're a way of designated in NPC scripts. Criteria for things happening in the world that the NPCs are going to react to. So suppose I didn't want the NPC, I'm going to just switch my terminology. I'll say creature. So in my game, all the different things you interact with that kind of move around and talk and say things, I just call them creatures. So say I want a creature to come out and say hello, but only when you entered the sunbathing area. Well, in my script, I say if the player is inside of the sunbathing area, then have this creature come out and say hello. And that's much easier than saying if the player has entered the coordinates at 5.2.3. I just think conceptually of different areas that I've defined in the level, and just kind of divide them out that way, and it's just a lot simpler to write code around it. Okay, so that's that. That is all the bugs that I saw at the beginning fixed, which means I can move on to the original session goal, which is a pretty big one. It's a pretty dramatic one. I'm going to hook up the main game loop again. And I'm going to have to comment out a bunch of stuff that isn't quite ready, but I'm not going to debug all the problems that come up, but I'm just going to get the game loop to run, to perform the initial level loading that's kind of necessary for anything to work at all. It has to generate the board, which is a logical game structure that represents everything in discrete squares instead of the full-on granularity of 3D space in the scene. Okay, so I'm just going to get the game loop hooked up. I'm going to comment everything that doesn't work, and I'll get level loading to work inside of the game loop. I say the game loop and level loading, that's actually not quite right. So there's some start code that loads the level. I'll get that to work, and then I'll make sure that the game loop, the update, basically can run after that. And that'll be my session goal. That'll be the mission. Do it or die trying. So I could stand and make this a little bit larger. Yeah, you know what? I'm getting to be a old fuck. Like, this looks really nice to my tired eyes to have these giant font. I'm an old fuck, and this is the second shift. So old eyes on the second shift like a big font, and I suppose if anyone is actually legit following me on this stream and actually thinking about code, probably helping you out too, because this thing will be shrunk down so small. It won't be on a big monitor necessarily with very high resolution after all the video encoding. Yeah, so big fonts for both of us. I'm just kind of looking through this and figuring out the work that is there for me to do. Start. So far this should all work. This will fail. I gotta fix this. This might work the first time. This might work the first time. If it doesn't, I'll just... I won't worry about it too much. This should work. Everything but the level load has a chance of working. Oh, maybe not the sound effects. I'm pretty sure that won't work. Okay. Okay, then I go down to the update. I don't know. This whole section, like whatever works is great. Whatever doesn't, I'll just comment out. Okay, I gotta pee. Hold on, I'll be right back. And I gotta get something to drink. I'll be right back. Big stupid head mode engaged. Okay. So some of the stuff is definitely going to fail. The key thing is to get the level loading to work, because I have to do it in a slightly different way, because I set up I moved a task that was happening right when the level loaded to pre-processing in the editor. So now it will generate a file that contains some calculations about the level, and I need to just read that back in. I need to read that file in, deserialize it, and use the contents of it to set up the level. But I think to start out, I'm just going to add the script, and I'm going to walk into it and see what happens. I know it'll fail, but I want to see what fails, and like if I get to the level loader and stuff like that. So the main here should have main object. This stuff here is kind of dumb. Like I kind of hate the idea that I would set it up each time. You know, maybe it's not that dumb though. Because what do I have? I've got main purity, and that has the opportunity for me to set these things specific to the theme in the prefab. Let me do that in the prefab at least. So we go main, add component, main object, and then we'll just sploders. So these are game objects that provide animation, like a particle explosion type effect. Okay. Player follow object in water transform. Water transform is set automatically by the code at runtime, or playtime, I should say. Player follow object. It would be kind of nice to have that automatically detected, but I'm not gonna mess with that right now. I think it is kind of dumb to have to remember to set this each time. Okay, let's save all that. So let's see, how far do we get? How far? Build it all. Okay, I just did some pre-processing right at the beginning. Did it fast, which is good. This should be kind of a non-op. Okay, this will fail. Kind of interested to see if this works. Let me step in. So here I'm just deleting anything that shouldn't be part of the game or runtime, playtime. So it deleted a couple things. So board's going to be null. Different errors will happen underneath. Yeah, this will fail. Let me hit play. Just let it crash. I don't get why it runs start again. Why would it run start a second time? Maybe once was for the editor? Is this got... It shouldn't run in the editor. Why does start run twice? Ah. Ah. I bet you... I think I know what happened. Okay, this will fail. That's fine. Okay. I bet you I've got multiple instances of... Oh, that's kind of nice. I get to see my clouds moving. They look so pretty. Okay. I'm betting I have, yes, I have 2 instances of the component. One from the prefab, one where I added it explicitly. So I guess let's get rid of this one. And save. Thank you, P.A. Evanson, for making me consider things I already should have considered. Okay, too many tabs. Let's close, 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 close. Let's not show my personal email. Bam, okay. Okay. It's a board loader. And I know I've got some work to do before I can get that properly hooked up. So I'll do that work first. So in the editor I've got level preprocessor. I need something like a separate file refactored out that's only for serializing and deserializing the level preprocessor file. I'm thinking about where is a good place to put it. Let's see, what pattern did I use for a similar thing? Something file util. If I go in here, there's parsing stuff, there's load. Okay. there's file path. I think I have just stuff to get. Yeah, okay, so in here I've got, okay, so put the file path in its own file, or put the file path generation, I'll just stick it all in the file util. Okay, so over here, I'll just call this preproc file util, because preprocessor is such a long word, and I think I can remember an occasional abbreviation. Okay, so then just move that there. Okay, so there should be then we got load and save. In fact, I think this can be self-contained. Okay, and I've already got save written. What is I used for? Let's take this out. Does it actually need it? No. Okay, so that's save. High confidence that works because I tested it before from the other location. Now I gotta write load. Just gonna keyword search because I know I've got this code written someplace else in the project. I'll just reuse it. Okay. Here it is. This will build out. And just a little confusion in the IDE. That warning will go away. Okay, so now I've got these new utility functions. I need to make sure that this original code here is calling the the new functions that I made. Okay, so let's build all that. This is the kind of build nonsense that I hate. Okay, if I remember right, I can get this to go away by doing a Unity build here. Let's see. That's not a warning I like. Oh yeah, this is all the junk from my previous one. Okay, time to turn this back on. Okay. So yeah. So sometimes I can sort out those build errors by just coming back to here and having Unity do whatever mysterious black box stuff it's doing when it performs its build. So there's the IDE build, which is only, I guess, really good for just testing for different compilation problems. And there's the Unity build, which seems to be an independent process. Yeah, I admit I only half understand it. Okay. So let's do the pre-processing. Make sure that still works. Pretty sure it does. The only way I'll know for sure is if I delete that file. Okay, let's see if it generates it. It does. So it makes a file 35 kilobytes. Okay, quite a bit more floor and height information there. It makes a file with the same name as the scene, which is delete me 1. Stores it in this persistent storage. I wouldn't mind fixing this default company thing. Where do I change that? I was looking for that before. Thought maybe it would be in here. But it was not. Company name. There we go. C space labs. Okay, I think that does it. Okay, I have to. Yeah, let's just get rid of this. I don't know what's there. Okay, C-Space Labs, GK. I have to create a new folder. Pre-process. There's some stuff over here. I think I'll just move it over. This is the directory for the old project. This is the one for the new project. So, like, what's this?
Oh, little nothing, you have strayed. Oh, little nothing, you are afraid that all your pieces fell apart. They fell below. Oh, little nothing, where did they go? We see you here, your sad little face. Come to cry, come to beg for our grace. Can we put you back together? Yes, we can. Can we put you back together? Yes, we can. Can we put you back together? Yes, we can. Will we put you back together? That's the plan. We got fix you, slice you, bite you, grind you, unwind you, because we got to find you, to hurt you, revert you, revise you, comprise you. We got to steal you, reveal you, complete you, devour you, empower you, because we got one more back to life, just one more back to life. It's what I need, but I'm hardly trying before you go someplace wild.
Alright, some music from the game. So let me see. Why would you complain about that? Oh, because I moved it. I moved it to editor, which is correct. So let me think about this. What does my pre-proc data have? Pre-proc data. It has the depth scan heights and world offset. And really the depth scan heights has got everything I need to initialize the board object. So I think I'll move this copy of this function over to board loader, which is really a more appropriate home for it anyways. Just revise it a bit. This can be a private function too. I make everything private that I can. Hmm. Don't need the scan for heights. Okay, board heights equals. You know what? I just want to make a different constructor here that just gets past heights, because otherwise I'll be doing extra memory allocation, which means extra garbage collection, and I'd just rather avoid that. And that's it. This is it. This is it. So then I did all that work inside of this tiny little thing. It's like a one-line function. I just don't think that's a useful abstraction, so let's put that back here. And call count comes from data. if I would... Oh, maybe it's just assert? Yeah. Fuck that. Oh, shit. This is in it. That's not what I want. Okay. Do this in a way that's easy to maintain and won't trip me up later. It's not a good thing to have multiple ways to do things necessarily. So just as a test, first I'll build it this way. Let's see, does it build? So if I got rid of one way of doing it, what code would break? And could I just replace that code to use the new way? Let's see. So here, do I have heights? Create board with heights. Okay, well, similarly, do I need this function? No, I see both use cases. I think they're legitimate use cases. I'm going to keep both. So let's put this back in. And let's put this back in. This I can make drier. Let's do this. Heights. Heights. Init always rows heights. And then let's not make a new here. Let's just say null. And that'll be good for making it really obvious that the board was constructed without being initialized in that case. Although again, what's using that? Let me see. Do I really need board to be initialized here? I could just have the board loader set it. Let me just set this to null. I just don't like to have lots of different ways to do things. Just gives me more places that things can fail. Okay, so get rid of that. Now, see, like I say, this little warning here and everything, if I just delete this, I'm not going to have to worry about reading that warning and making sure I follow it. Okay, so I like that a lot better. Alright, let's see how my board loading's working now. There's a lot of new code there. So let's just set the breakpoint there and run it. Okay, is this working? $34K. Perfecto. Got a board. Okay, everything else that doesn't work, I'm just going to comment out and put to-dos next to it. I'm pretty sure I've got everything done I wanted for this session. Okay, so there's some error with that. Find and add pieces. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. Okay. All right. So just not gonna worry about that. To do. This one probably works. But here, let's just put all this stuff under one to-do block. And I'll leave that for tomorrow to start working through this other stuff. To do re-enable. Okay. And the one thing I really do want to have, now that I think about, is an assertion that verifies that the columns and rows, the count of them matches what's in the heights. Because that'll be kind of like a gross error to debug. It'll be like, what? It's out of bounds? Array out of bounds? Why is it out of bounds? You know, and I'll lose 20 minutes figuring that out. Times however many times I do it. It might be like 5 hours of lost work before it's all over. So let's just put an assertion in. Assert calls equals, I get to go the other way. Heights squares okay, so I don't have anything there. We just add some access methods to it. How do you get the length of a multi-dimensional array? Oh, it's not a multi-dimensional array. No, I think it is. I'm just getting confused. Okay. Squares. Yeah, it's just square heights. Boom, boom. C#, get dimensions. Yeah, that one. That's it. Length 0. No, not like that. Okay, do that. Okay. I'm kind of wondering where the two audio listeners are. Player cam. Booter. I don't know. That's not part of my session mission. Let's play this thing. Let's make sure that the assertions are fine. There we go. Okay, it loads. This stuff I'm not gonna get. Let me see if I can just get to a point where this is all running clean, and then I'll call that the end of it, because that'll leave me in a much nicer place to start tomorrow when I'm working on it. So let's see, what is calling the splitter pool? This I can just disable. In fact, I think let's just disable all of this to do re-enable all of this. And it'll be good to think about each thing as I re-enable it, make sure it's where, how I want to do it and everything. I hate it when I save code in the debugger while it's playing. It's always risky. Now, can I just find the two things that have got audio listeners? I'm guessing one of them is in here somewhere in Booter. Okay, so player cam, I expect to have an audio listener. So it just kind of follows along with the player. It's a decent place to put the audio listener, in my opinion. I may rethink that. It might be better to have it somewhere in the booter so that as I load and unload levels that I don't have to, yeah, now I think about it, it doesn't really go, shouldn't go with the player cam, because the player cam is going to be something that's destroyed and loaded back in as I go from scene to scene. So let me remove it from the player cam. And I'll just have to come up with a different solution for the listener. Yeah, there's stuff in here I'll have to fix. Okay, so let's remove this. I suppose the player cam could go in the booter. That would be a good thing to sort out all the camera stuff in maybe one session. But let's just remove the audio listener for now. I know it failed. Let's remove. Do I want to remove these scripts? The problem is they're probably they probably have to do with the post-processing stack. So is it that hard if I just add the post? It probably is that hard. Okay. All right. and they'll have properties and stuff associated with them. I don't want to get into the whole pre-processing thing right now, so let me go back to the scene, discard my changes. Instead of editing the prefab, I'll just go to the player cam, remove the audio listener from there. Okay, let's just save everything. Okay. I would like to eventually know where the other audio listener's at. Okay, then hit play and see if I do any better. There. Okay, so it's getting down to just like maybe 1 or 2 errors left. Main object in the update. $134. Okay, player guide. I'm telling you, it's good to run clean. Okay. Many things broken, many things not working, but it's all under control. And I've got my main loop running. I've got the level loader working. There's some parts of it I want to re-enable, one piece at a time. But we're getting pretty close to the moment where I can take the player character and move it around the level and it'll look like a game again, something that you can actually do things inside of. And I've got a nice staycation coming up in July. Let me get a week off from work plus a couple of weekends on either side of that week. Just go to town on this. So feeling good about progress on this. I think I'm gonna close this stream down, call it a stream. The thing I wanted to do during the stream, I, as usual, got done. So happy about that. Time to stop the stream. Time to think about getting some dinner and little shot of vodka and play a few video games and go to bed. See y'all. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream now.